Hi everybody, this is Chess from Retro Nirvana Gaming. Today we're doing a very special collection video for one of my favorite consoles, our handhelds, that is the Sega Game Gear. Yes, we have two of these. One is my wife's, one is mine. Today we're going to go through the collection. I'm going to tell you when I started collecting for the Sega Game Gear, and we're going to get into it in just a sec. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. This is an awesome gaming channel. If you're enjoying the content, or if this is your first time and you're interested in seeing more of our content, hit that subscribe button down below. It's free, it's easy, and you'll be helping the channel grow. Alright, here we go. Okay, let's start talking about the Sega Game Gear. The Sega Game Gear was a console that I never had as a kid. I always wanted one of these when I was a kid. I saw a lot of my neighbors and people I went to school with having it. And I was like always a Game Boy and Nintendo kid back in the day. We never had any Sega consoles whatsoever until 2000 when I got my first and last Sega console was actually a Dreamcast. Because after that they pretty much stopped making consoles. But I always wanted this handheld when I was a kid. I had the Game Boy already. What drew me to this the most was obviously the color screen. The fact that it had a lot of really cool Sega games on there, Streets of Rage, all the Sonic games, and a lot of really fun games in general. My neighbor actually had the TV tuner for it that actually let you watch TV on here. So think about that back then. That was absolutely amazing. No one could do that, and I was one of those kids who I saw that. I was immediately intrigued by this console, and I was like, I need to get this. So there was probably 3 or 4 kids around me that had this console, and I would play it at their house. And so I played it a lot over the years, a lot. So of course I always wanted one. I ended up getting 2 of these from Retro Games Plus quite a long time ago now. I would say about 7-8 years ago at least. So we were able to buy both of these. They're not in the greatest cosmetic condition, but they both work. I just tested both of them. One of them had a little bit of corrosion, so I wasn't able to fire it up right away, so I had to clean it really well before I got to get it to work. But yes, now it does work. I'm going to turn it on right now. Okay, here we go. There we go. See, works. Very nice. And Sonic 2. Alright, so we're going to go through the collection. Now, this was one of those really cool consoles that was kind of almost like a Switch, because back then it had a lot of cool accessories. It was the first color one. It was, people had like carrying bags for it. And it was a really cool console in general. It was, I mean, it almost looks like a Switch as well. I mean, it's black. The form factor is very similar to a Switch. It's a little bit, obviously I think it's better than the Game Boy in terms of that, but alright, we're going to go right to the collection of games. Let me know if you had any of these when you were a kid, or you have them right now in your collection. The first and most common game, absolutely everybody who has a Sega Game Gear should have this game, and that's Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is super common, super cheap, but a very good game. Moving on with Sonic, we have Sonic Chaos. It's another one in the Sega series, or in the Sonic series. We have the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the Game Gear. Now, these games are not obviously 16-bit games. They're more like 8-bit games with color, but they are still really fun, and I do recommend, if you do like that retro style of handheld, give it a shot. Lion King. It was a huge game back in the 90s. Of course, they had this on the Game Gear as well. Pretty fun game in general. I do like it a lot. Tasmania. Again, a game that was on the Genesis, ported also to the Game Gear. A lot of these games were both on the Genesis and on the Game Gear. Of course, we have Chuck Rock. Very good game as well. Caveman game. We have Echo Tides of Time. Of course, Echo the Dolphin game. Of course, that was on the Genesis, now on the Game Gear as well. Batman Returns. This is a really good one. I also believe I have this for the Genesis. Thanks to my friend Left Handed Link, actually gifted me the complete in-box copy of this game, and it is really cool. I also have, I believe, the Atari Lynx version of this game. So I do have a lot of Batman Returns. Even the Super Nintendo version, I believe. Yeah, in the box. Aladdin. This one's a really good version of Aladdin as well for Game Gear. Fun. And one of the most nostalgic games, this was actually taken after the movie, is Surf Ninjas. So in the actual movie, the kid is playing a Game Gear. That was another reason why I wanted a Game Gear, because I saw this kid playing it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. He's playing the game and yet he's acting in the movie at the same time. And there was stuff going on in the game that was happening in the movie. So Surf Ninjas, this one's a really silly but fun game on the Game Gear. Very iconic. Next we have Columns. That is obviously a lot like Tetris, but different. That was their little take on trying to get some of the gaming market with the puzzles. Road Rash. This, I believe, is the most expensive one we have for the Game Gear. Kawasaki Superbike Challenge. I think this one's pretty expensive as well. We bought a lot of these games for like $2 at Retro Games Plus back in the day, so they were pretty cheap overall. Most of these are like, yeah, like $2, $3 games. We have Super Columns, another awesome puzzle game. We have NBA Jam. Of course, you have to have that one for the collection. I forgot I had this, Home Alone. That is a really good one to have on the Game Gear. Yes, I gotta pop that back in and take a look at that one. That one, I'm actually super excited that I found that actually in the collection. Next we have Taz. This is an Escape from Mars. As you can see, it was also $2 back in the day. F1. It looks like F1 Domark. 1 or 2 players. $2 game back in the day. X-Men. Of course, we had a lot of X-Men games on there. And then we have a few rarer ones here. These two we actually have in the case. And that is Mortal Kombat 2. Really cool to have that on a handheld like that. And another one that is super awesome. I think this might be my favorite Game Gear game. Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. So yeah, that's a really good one as well. Really good graphics and everything like that. What do you guys think about the collection? It's not a lot of games. I would say it's maybe 20 games or so. But it is really fun. It's a cool handheld to have. I love the form factor. It kind of reminds me of like a Switch, or it reminds me a little bit of a Steam Deck, or kind of a little bit like a GBA, but much bigger. Overall, it's a super awesome console. I hope that these two don't die anytime soon, because I know it has issues with the capacitor, and those can be a nightmare if you don't know how to solder. You have to find somebody who can do it. I have seen some mods for this where they take a glass screen and put it in there, and they upgrade the screen, because the screen honestly is kind of hard to see in this day and age. We are used to all these OLEDs and cell phone screens and all that stuff. So obviously this screen it is a color screen, but it comes in kind of dark. So obviously it would be cool in the future if I could get a cosmetic mod. Not anything urgent, you know, I don't play it very often, but it would be cool to have. I also would love to kind of upgrade the case and get this cosmetically looking a lot better. Alright, what do you guys think about the Sega Game Gear? Drop me a comment. Maybe there's a game that you loved when you were a kid that you saw in this video and you're like, oh, that was an awesome game. I remember that from when I was a kid. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the system. I know it's crazy. It takes 6 AA batteries, which is insane nowadays. I mean, even the Game Boy only took like, I think 4. But yeah, 6 is a lot. Well, thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below to help the channel grow and you'll see more of our videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.